would like to start by saying or reflecting the sentiment I think everybody here shares. This is your first feature film in 10 years, and we really missed you, so welcome back. Thank you so much for this gorgeous movie.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
I would like to start with maybe your general process. A lot of filmmakers, sometimes they start with an image or with a one-liner or with an inspiration. I was wondering, like, if you thought of an image or a sentence, what did you think about at first?
Well, I was dead for 25 minutes about 3 years ago, and I was brought back to life. And before that, I'd kind of come to the end of whatever I wanted to make. So when I came back, it wasn't so much an image, it was just the fact that I could start over again. I don't know if anyone ever died here and came back, but it's very rewarding. And so I had this idea that if I were to come back, I was going to make another movie as if I had never made a film. So I didn't really know what a movie was anymore. But I was very interested in how my kids were using social media. And I would create a narrative based on abstract experiences that I myself would define. So when it came to this movie, I was very interested in how this effect of instant gratification affects storytelling. And I thought it was exciting to see what it would be like to go through a movie that felt moment to moment differences, but yet there was a connecting thematics that would bring it together.
One of the earliest scenes in this movie is a terrific gag that I loved between Sophie Thatcher and Kristen Prosset. They're talking about the little match girl, and then she says, "I don't listen to European music." I think that was a wonderful way of cueing us into who these women are, how their sensibilities are different. But it also cued me into the kind of movie maybe I was about to watch, with a little bit of a dark fairy tale aspect. So tell us a little bit about maybe conceiving that exchange and whether you had these intentions of maybe mimicking a fairy tale a little bit.
I was very interested in fairy tales, and I think I've made most of my films like that. Because fairy tales are very interesting because on a surface they're paper thin in explaining them. They're so simple-minded, but when you reverse it, they're incredibly complex. There's almost like a bottomless pit. And today's most entertainment is based on information and programming. And I thought I liked this idea of the simplicity on the surface, but within it there's all different ways of understanding it. Because we live in a time where we're so used to algorithms and pre-manufactured entertainment, like sanitization of everything. So art becomes less dangerous, in my opinion, and therefore it's hard to penetrate the mind. And the mind needs to be penetrated artistically to create an experience. Young women, a lot of men, and so forth. And I couldn't find Private K, but then one day I was watching Riverdale with my youngest, and she's a big Riverdale fan, like the cult. And suddenly there was like a season that's in the 50s, and Charles came on. He had like great hair and leather jacket, and I was like, there he is. That's Private K. How do I get him out of the television into my movie? Sophie was suddenly brought on a list that I had to see, and then she came to visit me in LA, and right away when she walked through the door, I knew it was her. It was a similar thing with Carey Mulligan some years before on Drive. Like right away when I saw her, I just knew exactly that she was it. And obviously she made an amazing audition. She's a very gifted actress, but I already knew that it was going to be her. But once I had her, I could then connect with Havana and Christine, who had auditioned prior and I'd met with, who I really liked. but I needed to sure the triangle could focus, meaning that somebody had to, who was going to play L. And then I could kind of piece it together afterwards with a new idea of what kind of film I wanted to make, which was sometimes a bit confusing for the cast, who were like, oh, we're going to fight over semen today? But they were great at it, so it was a wonderful cast, and everyone was really terrific. And it was obviously very cathartic in many ways, and you know, when you direct a film, your cast is the essence. It's all about the cast. You know, you're a kindergarten teacher, and you're a shrink, and you're a best friend, and a non-physical lover, and a military general all at once for these people. But you're there to service them and to inspire them to give their best. But it's what I find interesting creatively is that it's never about the result, it's about the process. Because when you've done something, it's no longer yours, it's mine, it's theirs. But the process of making is when you're alive, and that's when time is meaningful. So it was about creating as much fun as you could have without really knowing how the film was going to end.
I mean, it kind of just tells me that that process of shooting chronologically also allows the cast to just immerse themselves in what the movie needs to be. What kind of environment does that create on the set when they're actually in the natural progression of their characters as opposed to having to go back and forth within a script?
Well, I couldn't do it otherwise because I would get confused where we are. I don't know if anyone who is an actor here or something, but you know the process of just coming on stage and letting it roll, and every day becomes something new. So the saying was always, when I would meet the actors in the morning, my first question was always, what would they like to do today?